Hey everyone, my name is Danny, and welcome to my Meet the Artist video. So like I said before, my name is Danny, I'm 25 years old, I'm a guy, and I do get confused a lot for a girl just because of my voice. I know it's very soft-spoken and just high in general for a guy, but I promise I'm a guy. I'm also gay, just I feel like I'll get questions about that too, but I am. And I was born in May, so that makes me a Taurus if you're interested in zodiac signs. Let's see, I've been drawing seriously since I was in the 8th grade. I mean, I wasn't really talented, so drawing for me was very much a thing I needed to practice at and really sort of focus on. So I tried my best to put as much learning and hours into drawing as I could. As of right now, I'm working full-time at Hobby Lobby, but I am planning on moving back down to part-time. But basically, I feel like I'm in a good place right now to where I can start giving art a good shot and I guess making money and pursuing it as a job. I feel like I'm in a good place to start doing that, and so I'm taking baby steps on getting there. I'm not really expecting a whole lot right away. I do know that it does take time for these sort of things to happen, but I am going in with a positive attitude, and I'll be honest, it can be a little unnerving not knowing what might happen. You never really know unless you try, right? So I just wanted to try. I am in the process of making a comic, but keep in mind that it is in the beginning phases of being made. All I really have is a few character designs and a very basic idea of what the story and plot is going to be about. But to give you a general idea, I guess, of what it's sort of like, I like to compare it to the TV shows Friends and The Office. Not so much the comedic aspect of those shows, but I really enjoy how those TV shows follow real people, and that's in air quotes because obviously the characters, I mean, they're actors, and how they go about their lives and just like the hardships that they face throughout life itself and how they handle it, and you get to see how they grow as people as the series progresses. And I really enjoy that sort of thing. I feel like it's very relatable and human in a lot of ways. Another thing about me is that I haven't gone to college or anything. I would at some point like to go to college and study illustration, just to gain more knowledge and help develop my skills a little further. So as far as my likes go, I'm pretty sure, like most artists, I like staying up late. I'm a pretty big night owl. I feel like I'm more productive at night. I'm not necessarily sure why. I just have more energy when it's nighttime. Just everything's quiet and no one bothers me. Everyone's asleep. So I love playing Overwatch. I love playing video games in general. I play on PC mostly nowadays, since I actually have a really good gaming computer and just all around good computer. But I do play Overwatch the most. It was the game that I wanted when I first got my PC, and it's the game I'm still playing, to this day. If you guys play Overwatch, or if anyone watching this plays Overwatch, I normally play either tank or support. Mostly support though, just because no one really likes healing, but I do play a lot of Ana, and lately I've been playing a lot of Zen. also like coffee and tea. I'm sure like most artists, right? Like I think it's sort of like a stereotype at this point. But I do enjoy coffee and tea. Sweet tea mostly. I don't really drink a lot of like fancy like herbal teas or like Earl Grey tea. It's mostly just like sweet tea. I do wear a lot of jackets and sweaters most of the time, and I do prefer like cold weather. I do enjoy music. Music is a very big part of my life, which is weird to say because back in like high school and middle school, like music just, I wasn't interested in music like at all, but nowadays I'm always trying to find new music to listen to. I normally like listening to sort of indie alternative type of stuff. My favorite bands are The Neighborhood, Arctic Monkeys, and Acid Ghost. You can probably search him up on YouTube. Well, I know you can search him on YouTube. But he makes really just melancholy and very chill. I don't know, it's really good drawing music, I feel like. Another thing I like is being at home. I'm a pretty big homebody. I do like going out. You know, I'll go to the mall, go to the movies. I do like going to the bookstore, half-price books every now and again. Sleeping is another like of mine, obviously. I mean, I like sleeping a lot. Another like is YouTube. I mean, obviously I like YouTube, otherwise I wouldn't be posting videos on here or watching it at all, but I do enjoy it. Most of what I watch now is just art related channels. Back in high school I used to watch a lot of gaming channels, a lot of video game stuff with like a few art things here and there, but I've more focused and centered it around, you know, art channels that really help you learn on how to get better and just inspire me in general. Some of the channels that I watch are Holly Brown, Twisted Disaster, Mal Makes, and the last one I'm going to mention right now is Mini Smalls. Those are just some of the channels that I watch. I do have more listed on my channel that I featured on there, so you can take a look at them if you want. Some of my dislikes, so kind of in contrast with, you know, staying up late, I don't like waking up early at all. I'm not a morning person. Another dislike, I don't like hot weather at all. Again, kind of contrasting with the sweater, jacket, fall weather type deal. I live in Texas, and so obviously it's like, you know, I can't really do anything about the Texas weather, but right now it's summer and it's like always 100 degrees out and it's like humid as hell, and it's so bad. Just going outside just is no fun, and I don't like sweating. I don't like the sun. I don't like it. I also don't like loud noises. It's just more like irritating, if anything, you know what I mean? It's just like if I'm just trying to be alone in my room, or, you know, just kind of have a moment to myself and there's just noise constantly around me, it just gets kind of frustrating. But anyway, another thing is I don't like orange flavored things. I know this one's really weird and I wasn't really sure if I should include this one, but it was sort of like a weird, quirky one, I guess. But anything like artificially flavored that's orange, I don't really like. So like if you think of like a bag of Skittles or something, I'll eat all of the Skittles except the orange ones. Or if you think of like the gummy worms, like how some of them, like they're half and half, like one, like I think it was always the blue flavor was always like attached to like the orange flavor. I would always like bite just like the blue part and just leave the orange part of the gummy worm, because I don't like orange flavored things. It's kind of similar with cherry. I mean, I can kind of deal with cherry flavored things, but you know, those two flavored, they're not really my thing. So another thing that like I don't really like, and this one isn't really a big deal or whatever, but it's just like if I can't joke around with you, or just if, you know, if I'm talking with somebody and it's just there's like no sense of humor, then it's just like, you know, boring. Like, I don't know. It's like, why waste my time, I guess. But So anyway, moving on to like probably one of the most important parts of like a meet the artist type thing is you get to see what sort of supplies and tools that I use. And inside that pencil pouch is a Jelly Roll pen, which obviously I use for just highlights and stuff when I'm doing traditional drawings. I also have a set of microns ranging from I think like 0.005 all the way to a 0.8. So I have a good range from thick to thin tips if I'm looking for certain, bolder lines or thinner lines. I do use a mechanical pencil. I'll use the mechanical pencil mostly for like the line art stuff or like the final lines, just because it's a very fine point and it can give me really crisp lines. For erasing, I like using the little click eraser, and then for my like drafting, sketching phases, I'll use a 6H pencil. The next thing I have is Copic markers, and they do sit in that sort of, it's kind of a hard kind of material to describe, but it's sort of this plasticky little pencil bag, but I use it for my markers, and it has all these like really cool antique looking cameras on it. My mom actually found it at a thrift store for me, which, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned, all this stuff that I carry with me is in my backpack, and the backpack that I'm wearing in the picture, I do carry it around everywhere, which probably makes me look like I'm still in high school, since people tell me I look very young for my age. People think I'm still in high school. But I do carry all this stuff in my backpack. But the next thing I have in there is a book by Daniel Connie, I guess is his last name, but it's figure drawing for comics, and I really like this book just because it just has a lot of information regarding obviously the figure as a whole, but also the individual parts, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears, hands, feet, legs. It really breaks it down in a way that is easy to understand. And if I ever, like if I'm drawing something maybe traditionally out somewhere and maybe I need a sort of refresher on, how things look, how things are drawn, how you can draw them, I like to open up this, this book and, flip to whatever sort of section I need. The next thing is a 9x12 mixed media sketchbook by Strathmore. So I've been using Strathmore stuff for a while now. It's kind of the only brand I've really ever bought. I know I've heard good things about Canson, and I haven't really tried like the Hobby Lobby brand of like mixed media paper and all that stuff. I use the mixed media sketchbook. I like it because it's a very thick paper. It takes the Copic markers really well. They do bleed onto the underside of the page, but they don't bleed onto the next page, if that makes sense. The next thing I carry in my backpack is a composition book. This book is specifically for my comic, just writing out maybe ideas, dialogue between characters, scenes I want to write, all that stuff. But I am sort of just throwing all of my ideas in there, and I do kind of doodle in there every now and again, but I make it a point not to draw in that one, unless maybe I'm thinking of a new character or something like that, and maybe I just want to quickly get some ideas down to see what they might look like. So the next thing, I don't carry this in my backpack. This is actually something that sits at home. Right next to my computer is my XP Pen 13.3. This is my first screen drawing tablet, and let me tell you, it has been amazing. It did take a while to get used to because it's not quite like drawing like on paper, where the tip of the pencil actually hits the paper, whereas with this digital, with digital art and with a screen tablet, the tip hits the screen, but then sometimes the cursor may not be right where the tip is. I know that's called, I think it's called like parallax or something like that, but I mean, for the most part, I've gotten over it. I've tweaked my settings on my tablet to the point where it works for me. But as far as the tools, that's basically what I use for both traditional and digital art. And the program I use for digital art, which you can probably see in the video, is Tool Sai. I've been using this program, you know, way back when, years now, and it's just been, I really like how simplistic and intuitive it is. You know, there's not a lot of complicated like menus or buttons or anything like that, you know. At least for the image as a whole, I wanted to say that I tried to mimic I tried to make it look almost like if I drew this in my sketchbook. So again, I'm not sure how far this audio is into the video, but eventually I give the background sort of a paper texture, sort of similar to my mixed media sketchbook, and the little sections, like squares, I tried to outline them like I would have done with like microns, and then I would color them in like I would have done with markers. So I tried to leave some areas a little more streaky and sort of like patchy, kind of like what happens whenever you try to fill in a large area with markers. You know, sometimes it's very hard to keep it all one consistent tone. But that was sort of my thought process, and you'll see it takes me a while to eventually come to that. I mean, there's just a lot of rearranging of things, and it definitely took me a long time to figure out what kind of layout I wanted and what you know, what sort of crazy background crap that I wanted as well. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say for right now. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. So, bye guys!